Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about slope-intercept form today. Now, slope-intercept form is just a nice way to represent an equation, and it's a linear equation because it's very easy to graph, okay? So we're going to practice graphing if I have the slope and the y-intercept. So remember, the slope is my rise over run, and my y-intercept is where I cross at the y-axis. So the first thing we're going to do is graph the y-intercept. The y-intercept is at 4, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to place my point there. Okay? Now the slope, I want rise over run. Well, since -2 isn't over anything, I can automatically put it over a 1, and that's my slope, right? So it says I'm rising -2, which really means I'm going down 2, and then to the right 1. Okay? So from here, I'm going to go down 2 over 1, and that's my next point. Now I can actually do that as many times as I want, so I can go down 2 over 1 a bunch of times, right, and get more points, right? And that can help us draw a straighter line, right? Okay. So once I've done at least 2 points, I only need 2 points to graph a line, but sometimes more points are helpful. I'm going to go ahead and connect them, and I'm going to be super picky. I want those little arrows at the end to show that it goes on forever, because I could pick any point. Okay, so this is like a shorter way to graph something instead of having to make the t-table and plug things in and solve. Okay. All right, so I can't really ask an Edpuzzle question on this, but why don't you go ahead and pause it and try it here. Okay, so again, I'm going to graph my y-intercept first, and this is -1. Okay, and my slope is 2 over 3. So I'm going up 2 to the right 3 since they're both positive. So that would be my second point. Okay, now let's say something doesn't fit. You can always go the opposite way. So 2 over 3 is equivalent to -2 over -3 because the negative and the negative cancel to be positive. So I could use my slope going the other way down to the left 3. Okay. And as you can see, when you draw your point and draw a line through all of them, it still forms a nice straight line. Okay, so you can flip them around. Also, just a side note here, like if you had, -2 over 3, that would be equivalent to 2, let's write a better 2 there, over -3, okay, if you have to go backwards for some reason. Okay? And you don't necessarily have to show these jumps on your paper. You can if you want. But if you're just like gently counting and then you write your point, you can do that as well. And then the orange would disappear. Okay? So we also have a special form that we use in this formula. Okay? And it's called the slope-intercept form. Okay? And this is something you would need to memorize. So it's y equals mx plus b. Well, we know from our last section that slope is m, okay? So anytime we see the letter m, that's our slope. And our b is our y-intercept. Again, why they call it b, I actually have no idea. It's just what they do, and I'm not going to change the letter for this class because then it would mess up the rest of your classes. So y equals mx plus b. So if I'm given the slope and I'm given the y-intercept, I can write an equation to describe each one. So I have the slope 1/3 and the y-intercept 6. So again, my form is y equals mx plus b. I know that slope is m and y-intercept is b. So instead of writing m, I'm going to write 1/3. And instead of writing b, I'm going to write 6. So this is the equation of my line. Okay? And we're going to learn several different ways to get the slope and to get the y-intercept, but if they just straight up give it to you, you just plug it in. Okay? So go ahead, why don't you write the equation for this one. So again, I have y equals mx plus b. I know that slope is m and y-intercept is b. So I'm going to have y, because I'm not replacing the y with anything, y equals m, which is 0, x, plus -5. I also could have written this as y equals 0x minus 5. And then I'm going to take this one step further because 0x is just 0, so it would be y equals plus -5. Whoa, I forgot an equals there. Equals -5, right? For either one. Okay, so you might be able to simplify some of them down further if the slope is 0 or if the slope is undefined. Okay? We're given a slope and a point, and you do things just a little bit differently. Remember, your final answer should be an equation where there's an x and a y. So whenever I'm given this information, I'm given slope and I'm given a point, which is x and y. I know in my equation I have x, y, m, and b. So I would write these letters off to the side. Well, I'm given that x is 2, and I'm given that y is 5, and I got that from the point here. And I'm given m is 4, since the slope is 4. I don't know what b is, but I have to have a b in order to write an equation. So I have the formula y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in everything I know so far and then solve for b. So I'm going to have 5 equals 4 times 2 plus b. So all I did was I took my 2, plugged it in, took my 5, plugged it in, took my 4, plugged it in. Okay? Now I have only a b, and I'm going to solve for b. So 5 equals 8 plus b. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, so I get b equals -3. Okay? But it wants me to write an equation. So I'm going to go ahead and write y equals mx plus b again. Now this time I'm only going to plug in the m and the b. I'm not going to plug in the x and the y, because I want it to be true for all x values and all y values. So I'm going to have 4x plus -3, or y equals 4x minus 3. Okay? So my final answer should have an x and a y in it, okay? So you have to kind of do the y equals mx plus b part twice in problems like this. Okay, let's do another one. So again, I'm given a slope and a point. So I'm going to write x, y, m, and b. X is -3, y is 1, and m is 8. And I don't know what b is, so I'm going to go ahead and solve for that. So again, I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to plug in all the things I know. So y is 1, m is 8, x is -3, plus b, because I don't know what b is, but I do want to figure it out. So if I do 8 times -3, that's -24. So I'm going to add 24 to both sides. So I'm going to get b equals 25. Okay. Now again, I write my y equals mx plus b again, and I'm only going to plug in m and b in the second time. So I'm going to get y equals 8x plus 25. Sorry guys, when I go too far off to the side, that always pulls over. So I get y equals 8x plus 25. Okay? Go ahead, why don't you try this one? So again, I have x, y, m, and b. X is 3, y is -5, slope is 2/3, and we don't know what b is. So we're going to go ahead and have our wonderful y equals mx plus b equation. Again, if you keep saying it to yourself over and over as you write it, you'll memorize it fairly quickly. So y is -5, m is 2/3, x is 3 plus b. So I get -5 equals, well, 2/3 times 3, the 3's cancel out, so I'm left with 2 plus b. I'll go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides, so I get -7 equals b. And then I'm going to have y equals mx plus b again. So I'm going to get y equals 2/3 x minus 7. Okay. All right, I hope this video finds you well, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.